On March 28th, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck central Myanmar, causing significant casualties and property damage. Several areas in Yunnan province, China, were affected, including Xishuangbanna, Dehong, Baoshan, and Dali, where the tremors were felt strongly. The shaking was most intense in Ruili, where many buildings collapsed and some people were injured.
Oh no, 25 floors. First, turn off the power meter. The walls are completely cracked. It's terrifying. Who says they aren't scared? Come try it on the top floor of a 25-story building.
This person described how they first turned off the power meter after the earthquake, only to see cracks all over the walls. The living room was flooded with water, and they felt terrified. They worried that the building would soon be unsafe. Another homeowner in Ruili filmed the situation in their home after the earthquake. The chandelier and framed paintings on the wall were shaking violently. They heard loud noises, and when they looked around, the house was in disarray, with the kitchen in a complete mess. They said it was a truly terrifying day. Another Ruili homeowner reviewed their home surveillance footage, showing how everything was shaking. They said, watching the footage later, I couldn't recover for a long time. If I had been at home, I would have felt helpless. One more homeowner in Ruili filmed their first return home after the earthquake. The hallway was filled with debris from fallen exterior walls. There was no elevator, so they had to climb the 25 floors. Along the way, they saw large piles of construction debris in front of almost every home. When they got back to their place, many items were shattered, including the frame of their wedding photo. On March 29th, a blogger in Ruili filmed the condition of their house after the earthquake. They mentioned that even though this was just an aftershock, the high-rise buildings in Ruili couldn't withstand it. They called it a Tofu-Dreg project, as the buildings become unsafe after the tremors. The blogger asked, would you still dare to live in a high-rise now? On the same day, an English teacher from Ruili commented in a video, saying that after the earthquake, property prices in the area might change. They noted that many developers' poorly built projects had been exposed. The earthquake in Ruili yesterday shattered many people's hearts, as well as the lives of many developers. In fact, when many communities were being sold, they claimed how excellent their seismic resistance was. But in reality, just a little shaking yesterday caused cracks to appear in the walls of many buildings, and the damage was quite severe. Some people in these communities no longer dare to live there. So, after such a shake, property prices in Ruili may change again. Fortunately, our community was lucky and wasn't affected. But in the end, it's ordinary people like us who end up footing the bill after these developers finish their work.
这面墙上的裂缝
The cracks on this wall appeared at 2:20 p.m. This afternoon, everyone was busy with their own work when suddenly there was a shake. The tremor wasn't strong, not really strong at all. But when I rushed home and saw the vicious cracks all over the walls, I knew our lifelong home had been destroyed. How ironic! On the day we bought the house, the salesperson pointed to the model and said our building used the highest seismic standards. When we took possession of the house, the property management assured us there were no problems, and that the quality was absolutely reliable. Now who will give us an explanation? Will they just say that it was an act of God? We hope the relevant authorities can respond quickly. Right now, we can't go back to our home and have nowhere to go. On March 29th, another homeowner shared their experience of buying a property from Ruili's Agile Real Estate. After just a few years, the house had suffered significant damage. Large pieces of plaster had fallen off the walls, and there were glaring cracks everywhere, and even some structural issues. Let me show you how bad my house is. The glass on the TV cabinet is broken. Another homeowner filmed scenes of cracked and fallen walls in their community and shared the difficulties they were facing post-earthquake. On March 29th, they mentioned that there was no official notification on what homeowners should do after the earthquake. The authorities had been unresponsive, and finding a solution seemed impossible. By March 30th, homeowners were informed that the elevators could not be repaired and that there was no solution for now. They would have to climb the stairs to get home. On March 31st, homeowners opened their doors to see damage everywhere. The walls were cracked, and everyone felt anxious and scared, but there was nowhere else to go. One elevator in the building had been repaired, so they no longer had to climb the stairs. Gas service was also restored, but there was no further information about other issues. A video circulated online showing a high-rise building in Dehong, Yunnan province, shaking and releasing a large amount of dust. A resident of Kunming, Mr. Huang, told Chinese media that during the earthquake, he was lying on his bed checking his phone when suddenly everything started shaking. He quickly grabbed his phone and wallet and rushed downstairs. A resident in the Ruili border area said that when the earthquake hit, he was riding his motorcycle, which shook violently. Streetlight poles fell over. The Myanmar earthquake unexpectedly affected Thailand as well, where a high-rise building under construction by a Chinese company collapsed. This incident drew international attention to the shoddy construction projects done by the Chinese government. On March 28th, the 33-story Thai audit office building under construction in Bangkok collapsed during an earthquake, resulting in significant casualties. The main contractor for the project was China Railway 10th Bureau, a state-owned enterprise. China Railway is a key player in the Chinese government's Belt Road Initiative, which has long been criticized for exporting poorly constructed buildings, or Tofu-Dreg projects. The sudden collapse of the Thai audit office building sparked strong public criticism about the quality of the construction and the responsibility of the country's regulatory authorities. In response, the Thai government was forced to launch an investigation. According to a March 31st report from the Thai Inquirer, the Thai Ministry of Commerce is investigating whether the Thai branch of China Railway 10th Bureau was operating illegally. Public information shows that the Thai branch is 49% owned by China Railway 10th Bureau, which is the maximum allowable foreign ownership share in Thailand. The remaining 51% is held by Thai shareholders. Pichai Nariptapan, Thailand's Minister of Commerce, stated that the investigation will focus on whether the company used Thai agents to conduct business, acting as a cover for foreign commercial activities. If illegal operations are confirmed, the company and its agents could face severe penalties, including imprisonment. However, when Thai authorities and law enforcement officials visited the headquarters of China Railway 10th Bureau, they found that the office had been abandoned. Calls to the company's registered phone numbers went unanswered. News of the China Railway 10th Bureau's disappearance spread online, with many Chinese netizens mocking the Chinese government for its disgrace. Before this, local media reported that Chinese men, including the project manager, were arrested for stealing 32 documents from the collapsed building. Netizens suspect that China Railway 10th Bureau may have been trying to destroy evidence of its illegal activities. The Thai authorities have released initial findings, revealing that at least 2 types of steel used in the construction did not meet quality standards. One of the steel types came from a Chinese-owned factory in Thailand that was shut down last year. On March 31st, the chairman of the Anti-Corruption Organization of Thailand stated that the organization had inspected the project multiple times during construction. They noted delays, insufficient workers, and signs of cutting corners. Thailand's Minister of Industry led a team to collect samples from the building's debris and pointed out that many of the local factories were outdated Chinese operations, which contributed to the substandard steel quality. Zheng Gong, a senior construction engineer from China, commented that the collapse of the building in Bangkok was abnormal. It was situated more than 1,000 kilometers away from the epicenter of the Myanmar earthquake. He emphasized that China Railway 10th Bureau could not escape responsibility, as the collapse was clearly a result of the building's poor quality. Zheng explained that generally, buildings over 30 stories should be able to withstand an earthquake of magnitude 7. In this case, the earthquake originated in Myanmar, over 1,000 kilometers away, and registered a magnitude of 7.7. By the time the seismic waves reached Thailand, they would have weakened significantly, likely falling below a magnitude of 6. He pointed out that the design of such high-rise buildings undergoes multiple layers of professional review, so the primary reason for the collapse was likely substandard construction. He further explained that substandard construction practices are often driven by the desire to cut costs and increase profits. In China, construction progress is typically a rigid standard, often prioritized over quality. For example, poured cement requires a certain amount of time to set, but in an effort to speed up the project, forms are removed too early, resulting in insufficient cement strength. In such cases, construction companies often bribe supervisors to ensure the tests pass. Zheng emphasized that this wasn't just an issue of this particular building. In China, 99.99% of civil buildings are susceptible to Tofu-Dreg projects to some degree. It's just a matter of how severe. Recently, more examples of poorly constructed buildings have emerged in China. On April 1st, several netizens from Lishui, Zhejiang, posted videos showing the collapse of a sky bridge at the Wanda Plaza in Longquan. The video showed the entire bridge collapsing, with construction materials breaking apart. The Longquan Emergency Management Bureau stated that the cause of the collapse is under investigation, but there were no casualties. On April 1st, a blogger said that incredibly, the walls were made of foam. On March 31st, Chinese media reported an issue faced by Mr. Liu, who had bought an apartment in the Xi'an port area at the beginning of 2023. In February, while renovating the apartment, he discovered a serious issue. The stones in the ceiling were loose and could be removed by hand.
Will this house eventually have the ceiling fall down because of loud noises from upstairs? There's no safety guarantee at all.
According to the developer, the ceiling was made with mirror boards and it was not properly plastered or finished during construction. However, when Mr. Liu began removing parts for the renovation, he found that large sections of steel and stones were exposed in the bedroom ceiling. Some stones could be easily removed, and the steel had already rusted. Mr. Liu expressed his concerns, saying the ceiling slab should be 10 to 12 centimeters thick, but now it's only 7 to 8 centimeters. This is very worrying. During an interview with a reporter, another section of exposed stones and steel was found near a window in the ceiling. Mr. Liu said, "I spent nearly 3 million yuan to buy this house, originally planning to renovate and move in quickly, but now with such serious safety hazards, I can't move in at all." It's reported that Mr. Liu has had multiple discussions with the developer, but their response was that this was just a localized issue and does not affect the structural safety. Mr. Liu disagreed with the statement, believing that the problem was very serious and worrying, so he demanded a refund. A homeowner filmed a video saying, "This is infuriating. The wall is like Tofu-Dreg, just a light scratch and the cement and sand fall off. I don't want this house anymore." Evergrande Real Estate, whose founder has been arrested, is in crisis, and many of its properties have serious issues. One homeowner said, "Look, this is Evergrande's so-called luxury apartment, a Tofu-Dreg project, and it's having problems even before being moved into. It needs a complete renovation." A homeowner filmed their new home in Shanxi, which they received in October 2023. She said that by 2024, the walls had needed patching 3 or 4 times, and by the end of the year, 3 large pieces had fallen off due to strong winds. Luckily, no one was injured. She expressed her helplessness. One netizen commented, "This might be an issue with the exterior insulation material. You should be more worried about the foundation and the structure." Other people said, "Better sell it quickly." A blogger filmed cracks in the columns of a building and asked, "Any big shots in the construction industry here? Is this just an issue with the exterior walls, or does it involve the concrete columns?" Another homeowner filmed a video saying, "The developer or the relevant government departments need to come out and give the homeowners an explanation. This property is a Tofu-Dreg project. 2 years ago, the wall on the 4th floor fell off, and this year the entire section on the 5th floor is falling off. How was this building approved?" In recent years, various types of Tofu-Dreg projects in China have become increasingly concerning. Earlier this year, multiple cases were exposed, including a new bridge in Jiangling County, Hubei, which tilted after being opened. Guardrails filled with foam were discovered in Chengdu, Sichuan. A highway in Quzhou, Zhejiang had cracks and subsided before even opening, and reports of substandard construction on the Chengdu-Dazhou-Wanyuan line, Wanyuan high-speed rail. Former Beijing lawyer Lijiang stated that Tofu-Dreg projects are everywhere in China. The reason for this is that contractors, in order to make more money and earn black-hearted profits, subcontract projects repeatedly, cutting corners and using inferior materials, making it difficult to guarantee the quality of the work. American economist David J. Huang believes that there are several reasons for the appearance of Tofu-Dreg projects. The first is a misalignment in design concepts, the distortion of execution standards, and the implementation process. The designs are often based on theoretical values without practical testing. During execution, corners are cut, and monitoring and supervision are often formalistic, leading to a final product that does not meet standards. Huang explained that another reason for the prevalence of Tofu-Dreg projects is the lack of an accountability mechanism. He said, "In Western countries, if a building structure fails, there are legal regulations to hold someone accountable, and someone is held responsible. But in China, as long as nothing happens, it's fine. When something does happen, they blame it on rare natural disasters. There's no legal framework for accountability." The third reason for the widespread problems is corruption. Huang stated that many construction projects are contracted by public entities, often involving significant corruption. The quality control and inspection processes are often compromised, and corruption results in sacrificing safety and quality. Chinese media outlets once reported that the collapsed high-rise in Bangkok was the largest construction project undertaken overseas by China Railway 10th Bureau. The company had even posted celebratory messages when the building reached its completion. However, after the earthquake, these messages were deleted, and related criticisms and comments were censored. Chinese expert Yueshan believes that Tofu-Dreg projects cannot be eradicated in China because the Chinese Communist Party is an authoritarian corrupt regime that operates without moral considerations. This corruption trickles down from the top, affecting the government and various industries. The regime is not concerned about the safety of the people and will not enforce strict regulations. Yueshan argues that to truly address the issue, the CCP must step down. Former Beijing lawyer Lai Jianping noted that under the CCP system, countless geological time bombs have been created by developers across China, with the potential to harm or kill people at any time. Whether it's buildings, bridges, or factories, major accidents could occur at any moment. Ironically, amid China's economic downturn, ongoing real estate stagnation, and the widespread prevalence of Tofu-Dreg projects, the CCP has recently introduced a mandatory residential project standards regulation. The new standards include Number 1, requiring new buildings to have a minimum ceiling height of 3 meters. Number 2, mandating elevators in buildings with 4 or more stories. Number 3, improving wall and floor soundproofing. Number 4, increasing the width of doors for bathrooms and rooms. Number 5, raising the heights of balcony railings. The government has labeled this as a national standard for good housing. Beijing intellectual Lao Zhang said that these new regulations will clearly increase costs for developers. However, these costs will ultimately be passed on to homebuyers. The economist David J. Huang commented that while the CCP claims these regulations are meant to improve housing quality, the real reason is the systemic collapse of trust in China's housing market. This policy offers false hope. The government is trying to suppress the voices of homeowners fighting for their rights, using false promises to cover up the inability to ensure quality. Huang believes the issue with housing is not about higher standards, but about the lack of press freedom and public oversight. Without these, how can developers be prevented from cutting corners?